What's up, guys? So I made a video before about the the passport bro movement, but this is just a quick follow up to that. Okay, it looks like the passport brother movement has been catching on quite a bit, both online and in real life, because there's a lot of people catching feelings about this thing, um, both on the woman's side and the man's side. Um, and there's a lot of other videos that's tackled this as well. So I'm not treading new ground here, but maybe just putting it in another interpretation. So for the women, you have like the feminists and some black women who are really up in arms about this and using all sorts of shaming tactics to disparage the movement. So let's start with one. They're basically saying that these guys are going overseas for prostitutes. With the way dating is so transactional here in the US, um, guys wouldn't have to go overseas if they just want to get pros. They can do it right here in the US. Like the transactional state of relationships here in the US is basically soft prostitution. And some of it's not even soft. Like, the whole $40 thing started here in the US, not overseas. So I don't know what that's all about. More than likely, if a guy is investing to go thousands of miles away from his home, he's looking for more than just a sex worker. Okay. Or they claim that these guys are just throwaways. If that's the case, then why do you even care? Like, why do you even care what these guys are doing if you don't care about them? If they're just throwaways to you? And to piggyback on that, for the people who are the strong, independent women, don't need no man, yada, yada, yada. Again, why do you care? Like, if these guys are going to seek happiness elsewhere, that does not infringe upon what you are doing or want to do, why care? Okay. And going back to the whole throwaway thing, I mean, for the most part, a lot of people are undateable. Literally, Jerry Seinfeld said that like 30 years ago on his TV show. He's like, most of the people undateable. Like, seriously, like that goes for men and women, but more so for the women, in my view, because um, they are the gatekeepers for sex, but guys are the gatekeepers for relationships. So if guys are choosing to bow out and find relationships elsewhere, then they're not being given a product that they find is worthwhile here in the States. All right. Um, what else do they say? Um, you know, they call the guys weak. Um, specifically with black guys, then they try to say, oh, you guys are late to the party. Like other races have been doing it. Of course they have. The issue that the women are missing is that guys aren't saying this to brag and to scold the women. This they're telling this to other men to bring them along and say, hey, guys, look what we've done. You can do this too. That's the whole point, is to bring up other men to this. And um, this extends beyond just black men. Like, this is a thing within the manosphere generally. Okay. And also, let's not forget Kevin Samuels. This guy was literally fighting to keep black relationships together. And when he died, black women openly mocked him online, in real life. And this guy was doing a lot to keep relationships together because he saw the trend where younger black men are not engaging in relationships with black women. He was trying to mitigate that. He had a whole private group on Facebook that was getting together thousands of black couples, and it was recently revealed that he had literally stopped tens of thousands of non-black women from joining the group just so that he could get black couples together. But, the North remembers, okay? Because, once you guys mocked that man and his premature death, when he was trying to do the most to keep black relationships together, but you didn't like his tone and the fact that he was spitting facts and data backed up by statistics, that, you know, the manosphere reacted to that. And we said, okay, so you're going to mock this man who was trying to keep black relationships together, was basically acting as a stern father figure for both young black men to get their shit together and for black women who weren't trained to know how to be wives. So a lot of us bowed out and said, all right, we're going overseas. Now, for me, this didn't directly apply because I had already been a passport bro before it was a thing. I had literally been overseas, met my wife, got married there, lived and worked there, came back and forth, and I'm going back this time permanently just because I'm done with, a lot of the things here in the States. Okay. So what about the men? I've seen more hating from the men actually than the women, because largely with the women, it seems the women who have options, who are young, who are still fertile, who are pretty, who are feminine, they're saying to the guys who are doing a passport bro movement, hey, well, good luck, guys. It's the ugly ones, the ones who've hit the wall, the baby mamas who wasted their youth fucking Pookie and Ray Ray. They're the ones mad at the passport bro movement. And you can see it online. Like, it's a shallow comparison, but literally most of the people complaining about the passport bro movement on the female side are ugly or over the hill, whereas the pretty ones, the more feminine ones, tend not to be very reactive to it, other than either supporting the guys doing it or just indifferent. But the guys, a lot of these guys hating on the passport bro movement are typically the same guys that were mad at Kevin Samuels. These are the low achieving, not just the Pookie and Ray Rays. These are just the lower achieving guys who are mad that other guys have the wherewithal to be able to travel, not knowing they could do the same thing with just a few adjustments in their life. Like when I started traveling, I wasn't making a lot of money, not at all. And because I believe Kevin saw this trend starting to spike, he tried to downplay it in his videos, telling guys, to stay here and weather it out. And even telling some guys you're not going to be able to travel anyway, which I don't agree with. But I understand why he did it. But again, it's backfired now that women rejected Kevin and mocked him after his death. So that is as it is, so to be cliche. But it's these underachieving guys who will mock the dudes going overseas saying you guys are weak because you can't get women here. No, we can get women here, most of us. We just refuse to do so. I've relayed this story maybe thousands of times and I'll keep doing it, but I remember literally like 9 years ago, my younger sister telling me, because I was already in my mid-30s, that because I was already in my 30s, that I didn't need anyone under the age of, I don't know, 26 or whatever, and that I should just accept that at my age I'm going to date someone with kids, and I shouldn't be dismissive of people who have kids anyway because it might make a good relationship. Yeah, no. Fuck that shit. Um, Instead of openly disagreeing with her, I just let my passport do my talking. Didn't say anything, didn't disagree, just kept silent. You know, found me a girlfriend overseas, Mrs. Contrarian, and got married to her. Literally traveled almost 9,000 miles to be with her, and don't regret it ever since. And she had no prior kids, no baggage, no attitude problems. She was fit, feminine, and friendly, still is. So that knocked that argument out. So what else are these guys saying besides, oh, we're weak? Or I actually had one guy trying to say I'm a sellout. I'm like, good, I'll sell out. I call it buying in. But I mean, my amorous interests are just that. They are my interests. So whether I choose to date black women or not, it doesn't matter. Besides that, there are more black women overseas than in the US. Of course, someone who was educated and traveled would fucking know that. I mean, Brazil alone has more black people than the US. And if you're talking about the continent of Africa, which is 52 countries, I mean, you have your pick. There's a lot of black people in the EU. There's a lot of black people, not just in Brazil, but all of Latin America and the Caribbean. Then you can find populations of black people in parts of Asia and Australia. So if I wanted to still date strictly black women, I have plenty of options overseas without even having to deal with women here in the US, nor the UK, because they're pretty much the same thing in their attitudes about relationships. So that doesn't pan out, or they make mocking comments towards the type of people that travel. Oh, you're corny, you just don't have any game. That may be true. Now, I for one do have game, because unlike some of these people that are making these comments, I'm from Gen X. So I grew up in a time prior to digital dating where you had to spit game to be able to talk to women. Most of the socially awkward people nowadays are some of the millennials and pretty much all of Gen Z, because they grew up being able to reach out to people on a screen as opposed to in real life. So I never had the problem with social awkwardness and being able to actually physically walk up to a person and start a conversation, regardless of gender. And I was literally working in sales, so again, had to have the ability to have good game, social skills, whatever you want to call it, soft skills. So, whereas that may be true of younger folks, that's not true of the older folks who lived at a time before social media platforms were the norm for dating and talking to people. And anywho, this video's going a little bit too long, but yeah. So none of the stuff they're saying nets out, and like I said, it's more of the men hating on this movement than the women. The women obviously have their reasons, and I just went over that. The guys are basically envious of the fact that other guys can do this and they can't, or they think the guys who are doing it, in addition to being envious of them, are sellouts or corny, got no game. Okay, let's just say they are corny and don't have any game. The fact of the matter is, when you're talking to women who are genuinely interested in you, you don't have to have game to talk with them. You can just say, hello, how are you? My name is X. What is yours? Unless you're an incel, maybe you can't handle that. But otherwise, like I said, you don't have to spit game, stand a certain way, have your head tilted a certain way, put a little lull in your voice, and all that sort of stuff that you have to do here to attract women. So if corny guys are going overseas and finding love, what's the beef? If anything, for the guys here in the States who do have game, they should be happy. More for them. Like my stepfather used to say, if he got some food that I didn't like, especially if it had cheese on it, because I didn't like cheese, I was like, oh, I don't want that. Oh, more for me. So same thing for you guys. For us corny dudes, us weak dudes, us sellouts that's going overseas, finding happiness with women over there, being in countries where we can breathe and not have to worry about, police or being treated like second class citizens just because of the color of our skin, and just generally enjoy life as digital nomads or however we make our living, let us do us, and you can stay here. More for you. Like my stepfather said, more for you. You can have all the Tatianas you want. You can have all the fourth wave feminists that you want. You can have all these transactional women. Pay them their $40. Whatever. Have fun with it. But I'm just a contrarian.